Hi guys, this is Leela. Welcome to my channel Leela Web Dev. In this video, we will try to learn about the another two important concept, that is nothing but grouping the form controls. So just we have seen in our previous video about the form control concept, right? So let's try to see how we can group the form controls. Why we need to group the form controls first of all. So forms typically contains several related form typically contains several related controls. Reactive forms provide two ways of grouping multiple related controls into a single input form. So if you want to group the multiple related controls into a single input form means then we need to group the form controls. So there are two ways what we can do it. One is the form group. So one is form group. So what is this use of this form group? We'll try to learn about this form group in this present video. So form group means defines a form with a fixed set of controls that you can manage together. So if you want to manage the different form controls into a single fixed thing means then you need to use the form group. So we also have another one that is nothing but form array. So grouping of the form controls, so we can do it in a two ways, that is form group and also a form array. So what is this define? It defines a dynamic form where you can add and remove controls at the runtime. So that means what I want to say is, so here, so it defines a dynamic form. Form array defines a dynamic form, so where you can add and remove the controls at runtime. So you can also nest the form arrays to create more complex forms. So we'll try to learn about this form array also. So first of all, we'll try to learn in this video so about this form group. So now just as the form control instance gives you control over a single input field, a form group instance also tracks the form state of a group of form control instance. For example, a form. Each control in a form group instance is tracked by name when creating the form group. So I will try to show you this one. So for this one, what we need to do it is, I will try to create a new component for this one. So let's try to create this form group. So for this one, what I will do, so let's go to our code and here I will create a new thing that is nothing but profile editor. Let's try to create a profile editor. Then afterwards, you'll try to learn about this one. So now at the end, what I was trying to tell you is, so now we are having a single form controls, right? So normally in our while designing a form or something like that, so instead of having an individual form controls, we might want something like a grouping of a form controls into a form group. So grouping of the form controls, now generally we can do it in a two ways, that is nothing but form group and a form array. Not two ways, these are the two different methods, not two different methods also. In these two ways we can do it. So one form group is useful for in one scenario and form array is useful in another scenario. Form group means so fixed set of controls. You are having some fixed set of, so for example, let's say that you are having 5 or 6 set of controls means that 5 controls, if you want to make it as a group, then you will be using this form group. For example, let's say that you don't know how many controls are there. So you are having a dynamic form controls. So you will be adding that and removing the controls at runtime means then we need to use the form array. So first in this video, we will learn about this form group. For this one, we have created the profile editor component. So it has been created. What I will try to do here in this one. So now here profile editor component has been created. So now let's go here. So now we'll create a property in this one, profile editor component.ts. In this one, I will create a component. So in this, we'll create a property with the class name profile form. So profile form. And and we'll set the property to a new form group instance. So form group instance means new form group. So new form group instance we need to add it. So now to initialize the form group, provided the constructor with the object of map to their control. So now for the profile form, so we need to add two form control instances with the name, first name and the last name. Okay, so let's try to add the first name. First name is equal to new form control. So this all comes under, so initialize value with this one, and we'll be having a last name, new form control, and this one is also empty. Now this should be imported in the reactive forms module. This should be reactive forms module. So let's try to have it. This one is not coming. Reactive forms module. That's it. So now we have created a form. So the individual form controls are now collected within a group. So these individual form controls are collected within a group. A form group instance provides the model value as an object reduced from the values of each control in the group. A form group instance has the same properties what the form control has. such as value, untouched, and also the methods such as set value as just like a form control instance. So now we have created the form group. So now, and also this form group and the form control should be imported from the whatever say Angular forms. So now we will be defining, now we have defined a profile form property and initialize it with a new form group containing the first name and last name as the form control instances. So now let's go to the second one. So now what I need to do, associate the form group with the view template. So let's try to associate the form group with a view template. Now let's go the view. A form group tracks the status and changes for each of its controls. So if one of the control changes, the parent control also emits a new status or value change. The model for the group is maintained from its members. After you define the model, you must update the template to reflect the model in the view. So let's try to go here in our profile editor.component.html file. So here I will be having a form. Okay. So here I will be having one label. So we are having one label, and in this label, so I am having the first name. So here I will be using for is equal to first hyphen name, and here what I can do, so here I can do one div, and here input type is equal to text, id is equal to first name, and id is equal to first name. So here let's try to design the form first. So we will be having another one is the last name. So I will be having the last name, and here also I will be having the last name, and here also I will be having the last name. Okay, and the last I will be having is the div. So this is the button, type is equal to submit, and here I can have submit. That's it. So now if you try to see the output for this one, so we are not able to see the output. So let's go to the app.component.html, and here I need to show app-profile-editor. Okay, so in the component.ts also let's try to add it in the import. Now we are able to see the first name and also the last name. So now let's go to the profile editor component.html file. So here we have used it, right? So just as the form group contains a group of controls, the profile form group is bound to the form element with the form group directive. So here we need to use the form group is equal to profile form. Now we have used, so profile form is bound to the form element with the form group directive, creating a communication layer between the model and the form containing the inputs. Now the form control name input provided by the form control name directive. Now for each one we need to provide the form control name is equal to, so for this one you will be having the, so whatever the name we have created here, so first name and the last name we are having it, right? So those things should be bound to here. So here also you will be having the form control name is equal to last name. That's it. So now the form control name input provided by the form control name directive binds each individual input to the form control defined in the form group. So whatever the form control names defined in the form group, we will bind it to the each element. The form controls communicate with their respective elements. They also communicate changes. So whatever the changes it has been happened, it will also communicate to its parent form group instance, which provides the source of truth for the model value. That's it. So now the third one what we need to do is the saving of the form data. So now the profile editor component accepts input from the user, but in real-time scenario you want to capture the form value and make it available for further processing outside the component. Now the form group directive, whatever it is there, it will listen to the submit event emitted by the form element and emits an ng submit event that you can bind to a callback function. So that means here form group directive will listen to the submit event, and in return it will emit the ng submit, it seems. So now, so you need to use the on submit callback function. So whatever the callback function you want, you need to implement it. So here I will be having this on submit. Okay. So now add an ng submit event listener to the form tag with the in submit callback method. We have it. The on submit method in the profile editor component captures the current value of the profile form. Use event emitter to keep the form encapsulated and provide the form values. So these are all things common. So now if you want to check the values of this one means, so how can you display? So here you can do console.log this dot profile form dot value. That's it. So now it will try to give you the entire thing. So if you try to refresh this page, and if you want to get only values means, so here you will be able to get the, so here if you want to get the, so like this means, so here if you want to get the event listener means what you need to do, so that is nothing but the ng submit. Here you need to get the dollar event, and you will be able to get the event here. So event emitter, event of event, okay, and here you can use the event dot prevent default. That's it. Now if you try to write it whatever the things you want, if you click on submit, so what is happening here, I'm not able to write it or not. So yes, okay, let's refresh this page. So I am submitting the event here. So fine, so I have restarted this my compiler. So now when you try to add the values, so here, so if you try to get it, and if you click here, so here I am able to see the object. So just like the form control how you will be having, the form group instance also in the same way you will have it. So for example, if I try to add these all the things, and if you click on this one, this is the form group instance. So you will be having the controls. So each control you will be able to have the first name, last name, and also the events. So untouched or not, these are all the things you will be having. So touched or not, you will be able to see, and here dirty or not. So these are all the things you will be able to see, and you will be able to see the value changes observable also. So this is the value which we are trying to do. And also for this one, and also we will be able to see, we also have another value that is nothing but you will be able to see a valid. So valid is true. So for this one we can also add a button in such a way that here the submit button should be enabled when it is valid only. So here it should be disabled when it is not valid. So here I can add something like disabled. So right now we haven't added any what I want to say, we haven't written any validations or anything. So all the times it will be valid only. So if you are having validations, then this button will not be enabled. So whenever you write the data, so you will be able to get the form group instance. So this is how we will be doing this approach. So this approach establishes a form using Angular reactive forms, a powerful way to create complex forms and manage their states in the Angular application. So that's it guys about this one. So hope you understood about this form group. In the next video we will try to learn about how to do the nested form groups. I will try to explain you. So if you have any doubts or any suggestions, please post the comments below to this video. And if you like this video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you.